La 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 la. What's up, everybody? It is your guy again, Jaron Ikner, aka Jaron Ikner. I'm not going by black one anymore. Arizona Kanye in the building, here to talk to you about a couple things. Let's talk about it. Live streaming show. Feel free to chime in the comments. Any questions, concerns, or if you just want something to say something, get a shout out. Super chat is activated, so holla at your boy on that. But we're talking about a couple things today. Mostly, one of the things I want to talk about is Kanye West's new album, Jesus is King. If you are a new subscriber to this page, you may know that we had the live leak stream on here for about 24 hours before we got hit with the strike. So we don't have. I mean, I have the album, I have the live stream link, but I'm not gonna post it. I'm not gonna play any songs because I'm not trying to get another strike. I will sing some of the songs, and some of the songs are fantastic. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, the thing about it is that there's actually two leaked Kanye albums that are floating around on the internet. You have Yandi, which was supposed to drop last year, and then you have Jesus is King, which was streamed live. Um, excuse me, streamed live last weekend in Chicago and New York. Now, with those things in mind, I will say that I've been listening to Yandi pretty much like nonstop since the leak, and I will say that Yandi is pretty fantastic. I really like this album a lot. It's arguably some of Kanye's best work uh, in terms of. I wouldn't say it's. I don't know. Saying that it's his best album is not really the best way to put it because we don't know how he truly intended it. We don't know what the sequence is going to be or what the songs are going to be like in the grand scheme of things. And so I can't say that that it's his best album because I will say that there could be a room for improvement. But I will say that Yandi, I love it. Lyrically, sonically, it's a really strong project, and I really wish that we could have got that in the way that Kanye had intended. Um, with that in mind, I think that a lot of the songs that were on that Yandi leak got reworked into some of the songs for Jesus is King. And so part of the issue is the fact that Kanye West no longer does secular music, etc., so forth. Um, and so what he ended up doing was like he actually reworked some of the lyrics in some of the songs. One song in particular is the track "New Body." Now, with "New Body," the original version was actually featuring Ty Dolla Sign and Nicki Minaj. And just from the sonics of this song and how the song was arranged, you could tell that this song was meant to be a radio-friendly hit. It was going to be a hit. And so the thing about that is that I really like that song. The original version of New Body is great. And I really wish that we could have got that single. But what Kanye did is now that he's making Christian music, is that he kicked Nicki Minaj off the song and then reworked the lyrics to do to add to make changes to make it more religious. And he changes like the bitches and hoes to gods and sins and things like that. And honestly, it feels a little bit like pandering to me in the sense that he didn't need to do that. But I also think about it from a label perspective, where it's like a lot of this, if you're a studio, right, and you have Kanye West signed to your studio, and Kanye West has been doing all the crap that he's been doing for the last year, and you know that he hasn't delivered on music, Kanye West knows that he has to give the people a single, a viable radio single, because when was the last time that Kanye dominated radio? It's been a while. And so with that in mind, like, they know this. And so New Body was supposed to be that song, for sure. I am 100% sure that New Body was going to be a massive single in its original form. Whether or not it ends up being a single on Jesus is King remains to be seen because now it no longer has the club appeal to it. I'm sure it will still go off in the clubs, and that's the interesting thing about it is that this is almost kind of like a Jesus Walk situation where the song can wind up being a massive gospel hit if Kanye decides to. Rumor has it that Nicki Minaj is going to rework her verse and actually make it more Christian. Maybe not curse on it. I don't know exactly what her plan is on that song. But the rumor has it that she's reworking her verse. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because, like I said, the original form, that song is incredible. And I really messed with that song. And it's sad that Kanye had to cut it from the album. There's another song on there, Use This Gospel for Your Protection. Incredible song. Incredible song. So this is a song that uses the famed car door sample, which Kanye then builds upon to create this very beautiful, intricate masterpiece of a song. The original version just has him on it, and his verse is pretty strong, but the Jesus is King version of it actually has features from Clips, both of them, No Malice, and Pusha T, and then also an amazing saxophone solo from Kenny G, of all people, the saxophone god. And for me, I think the new version is and this is just from listening to the leaked cell phone stream, but this song is incredible. It's been stuck in my mind since I've heard it, and I've probably heard it like a billion times since all this stuff that I've been doing since then. But this song is some of Kanye West's best work. It shows his genius in how he's able to, create and craft these beautiful soundscapes. It also shows his ability to push the threshold of artists, because the thing about it is that the song has No Malice in the Clips on it, who is a born again rapper. He doesn't really rap anymore. He writes books now. And so I can really see the conversation being like, the only way that he was going to get Malice on this track would be to do a Christian based song and make it all about that. That would be the only thing that would really bring No Malice's attention to the record. And from what I've heard, it's pretty damn good, man. Like, I really, really like this song. But with all that said, when it comes to Jesus is King, I really see this album as like a gospel version of 808s. Kind of has a very gospel-y 808s and heartbreaks type of vibe to it. Basically what happens when you smash Jesus Walks with 808s. Now, for some people, that is good. For me in particular, that's okay. 808s and heartbreaks, actually, for me, when it first came out, I didn't really like it. And I'm being dead honest about this. I'm a massive Kanye West fan. But when it comes down to it, like, it took a while for the album to grow on me. But it doesn't mean I don't respect that album. That album changed the game, arguably, depending on who you ask. And sonically speaking, it's some of Kanye's best work. Lyrically, too. This album doesn't feel as strong lyrically. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he is doing a lot of the pandering to Jesus and Christians and making it non-secular and things like that. And I think that that's part of the problem with Jesus is King, especially when compared to Yandi, because Yandi has a sense of urgency on it, especially with songs like Bye Bye Baby, even New Body, his verse on there. The songs on there just have a lot more sense of Kanye to it, whereas Jesus is King feels like almost cult music. And it's funny because I was having this conversation the other day about how, like, a lot of this, like with the whole Sunday service rollout and all that, if Kanye had did that rollout last year and was doing all these things in different cities and the gospel music and this and that, it'd be really hard to argue any of the stuff that he's doing. But the problem is that he's doing this as an afterthought to what happened last year with the slavery choice and all that crap. And I think that's where he's having a hard time connecting with a lot of people, because of the fact that we're not sure if this is real or not. And for me, it's like, I love Kanye. Like, he's one of my favorite artists, if not my favorite artist of all time. But I'm afraid that what's happening is that he's taking advantage of his fans right now. In the sense that if Kanye were to pull up to my city right now and be like, "Hey, I'm doing a Sunday service. Come come by and listen to my new gospel music," I would probably be there. I'm a massive Kanye West fan. So, yeah, that's kind of what it is. So, for me, I just get afraid that, like, Kanye is gonna wind up indoctrinating a lot of his fans and having us hang on his every move, which we've already been doing if you look at what's been happening over the last year, and not being able to follow through with something that is viable and truly progressive. Because for me, for him to go full Jesus is King and him to be a pastor and all this, it's almost a step backwards in what Kanye's mythos and how his mentality of us being our own gods is kind of, it's kind of diluted. So it's kind of like I have to wait until the full version of Jesus is King comes out before I get my true rating on this. But with that said, Yanni's incredible, and I really wish that we could get this album in true form. Apparently, you can get it as a ringtone on iTunes now. I don't know, but just know that when Jesus is King comes out, it will definitely be a polarizing album, just like 808s and Heartbreaks was. It's going to have a lot of people question Kanye's intentions, but he's also going to get a brand new fan base of followers, especially people who are religious minded. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. He's supposed to be doing a short film associated with this project, and I'm gonna probably go see it because this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is that I'm a fan of Kanye West. I want the music to be great. And so far, what I've heard, it's pretty darn good. There's a couple of things I have some questions about, and once again I'm listening to a streamed version from a dude's cell phone that was ripped to the internet, and I downloaded and put back on the internet. So it's not like this is like even how Kanye necessarily intended this, which is a lot of it. So, but we're just judging his off his leaks. And the way I see it is, if Kanye really wants valid opinions, he needs to give us valid versions of the music for us to judge. Anyways, Tekashi 69. That was a terrible segue, but Tekashi 69. We're talking about him now. So this dude is basically telling on the entire world. You've seen the memes. You've seen everything in the streets talking about how this dude has snitched on everybody in the entire world. But the interesting thing about it is that he says, allegedly, that he is not planning on going on witness protection, and he plans on releasing more music. So the question is, will Tekashi 69 actually have? Will you listen to Tekashi 69's new album? And for me, it's kind of like a yes. Like I'm gonna at least check it out, at the very least, because this dude has stirred up so much controversy in the last year that it's almost impossible to escape the whirlwind that he's created. So at the very least, he's gonna get a spin from me. Now, with that said, I've never really been a Tekashi 69 fan. Not like I'm over here bumping Gummo. So I'm going into it with low expectations, just the same way I did Dummy Boy. But it's just really funny to me that you even have people like T.I. coming out and saying, "Oh, he'll be fine when he comes out," and he might be low key right, because we're in a generation in a world where, like, it really is less about like that street integrity and all that stuff. And it's all about the clout. And as long as Tekashi 69 stays inside the house, he might be all right. He can make music from his room. I'm sure there are going to be people gunning for him, but if he moves to Alaska or something, are they really going to come after him? The way that I see it, and I saw a post on Twitter about this that said, if we get Tekashi 69 before we get George Zimmerman, then we're done. We already killed XXX, and our priorities are just really messed up as hip hop enthusiasts and people who really mess with what we're trying to do out here. So, no, it's going to be really interesting to see how people react to Tekashi 69's return. I think he's going to come back and do insane numbers, and I don't think anybody's going to touch him. Now, will he rise again to the notoriety and fame that he's known for? That remains to be seen, because of the fact that Tekashi 69 We are fad culture. You know what I'm saying? I will say that with the Tekashi 69 videos that I've posted on this page, they have a continual growth. There's hundreds of people who watch the Tekashi 69 videos on my page every day. So there's a fan base there. There's people there who definitely want to hear more from him and want to see more from him. And I don't really support it. There's not really much I can do about it. I'm just some dude just talking on the internet. But you can't deny the fact that the dude has juice. And whether or not that is going to resonate to him being protected by the power of the internet when he comes out remains to be seen. Who knows? But what do you guys think? Are you going to cop that new Tekashi 69? I do think that he should definitely use the courtroom drawing picture that's been going around as his next album cover, because that's awesome. It's an awesome album cover, and probably the most troll thing that he can do. And that's another thing about it too, is that Tekashi 69 is a troll, and this is probably like the most trolly scenario that anyone can really do or be in as a rapper who just snitched on half the world. So this is like honestly like a golden opportunity for him to really like go and like get all that crowd back. And like I said, chances are I probably will listen to the next Tekashi 69 song just to listen to see who else is he gonna write out on the song. What's really funny about that is that they're using his lyrics against him in court right now. Like they're playing stuff from Gummo and asking what the references are and stuff like that. And it really is just like that episode of Boondocks where they're like, play it for the jury, play it for the jury, happening in real life. And what's funny about that is that Boondocks is coming back. Thank God. They're coming back to HBO, and Eric McGruder is overseeing the show and everything. And what's awesome about that is that he has plenty of material to use for this show, and I'm so excited to see what he comes out with. Another topic that he can use is Stacy Dash. Now, if you have been following Stacy Dash in her career, you know she was the it girl back in the '90s with shows like Clueless. Devil in the Blue Dress was like like a moment for me as a person growing into puberty. You know what I'm saying? She showed some titties in there, so it's like, yeah, I like that. And I actually had a really massive childhood crush on Stacey Dash. Am I ever gonna front? Like, Stacey Dash was it back then, for sure. With that said, she has definitely gone off of the rocker over the last decade or so, particularly with her undying support for the Republican Party and Trump denouncing black people and Black Lives Matter, all kinds of crap. That basically she lost all her cool points as a urban artist and black person, and even to the point where basically she's been kicked off the team, and she has a lot of black hate. Recently, she was actually arrested for domestic violence charge. And as a result, the internet's been having a heyday with this because, the internet is relentless and we don't care. But what's funny about this is that during when she was being detained and they were taking her information, taking her pictures, she actually said that she put her race as white, meaning that she's basically denounced any blackness in her despite the way that she looks. And I think that really is interesting because she is almost a poster child of black Trump supporters and things like that. And honestly, I don't really want to go down a political route with this whole discussion, but I just thought it was a relevant topic because of the fact that, Stacey Dash, like I said, she was that it girl back in the '90s. And what's fascinating about it is that the idea of what it means to be black in America is a very interesting discussion in the grand scheme of things, especially when it comes down to what it means to be democratic, et cetera, so forth. The panel that Revolt TV did that featured T.I., Candace Brown, and Killer Mike had some very interesting points on it in the sense that, we're allowed to have these different thoughts and be different people. Not all black people have a high mentality. We're not all supposed to think the same. With that said, it's also very dangerous to support a mentality that could be destructive to the progression of black people. Now, this is a Democratic or Republican thing, but this is more like a logic thing. And so when it comes to Stacey Dash, you know, she has been very open and very aggressive towards attacking certain policies that enable and help black people. She was very anti-Black Lives Matter and police shootings and all that stuff. And, you know, there's a line because as a black man in America, I do really understand that that we all have different viewpoints. Like just because I'm black doesn't mean that this black person over here feels the same. But if that black person is trying to stop me from being the black person I want to be, then we have ourselves a problem. And that's kind of what's happening with Stacey Dash, where she is actively trying to stop and harm and keep us from progressing to new heights and new levels. And so it gets dangerous. With that said, I don't want to make this into like a hate Stacey Dash thing, but at the same time, I kind of will say that she is getting what she deserves in terms of how the internet's responding to her recent arrest. And the fact that she doesn't even claim herself to be black anymore is kind of crazy because a lot of black people paid you through those movies that you did. And a lot of black people supported you when they bought all your merchandise and all that stuff. So it's kind of messed up that you would turn your back on that, but that's the way it is. Let's talk about it. Anyways, that's today's episode. We'll be back whenever we feel like being back. Make sure you like, subscribe, watch the video. We got a lot of stuff coming here soon. We're going to be in your face all the time, forever, and we're never, ever going to stop. Bless up. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all soon. Peace out.